I call this meeting of the Castleberry Independent School District Board of Education to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. We are here for what is best to promote and encourage achievement for every student in our district. Right now, we'll have the invocation. Ms. Mary Lou Martinez.
Dear Lord, we ask that you guide our efforts this evening, and we ask for compassion and understanding for our students, our staff, our community. We need your wisdom in guiding all our students, and we ask that you watch over those that are in harm's way, that they are away from their loved ones. We pray that they will be safe and return home safely. I ask all of this in your holy name. Amen.
We appreciate you being here this evening, and we always welcome communication from citizens in our district. Individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment shall sign up with the presiding officer or designee no later than 1 p.m. the day of the board meeting, and shall indicate the agenda item or topic on which they wish to address the board. Ms. Branch, do we have anyone who wishes to speak to the board today?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you. On to item 4. Ms. Smith-Faulkner, were there any questions called in regarding the consent agenda?
And no, there were not, Mr. Board President.
Okay. Item 5A, District Improvement Plan Performance Objective 20, Extended Construction Responses Presentation.
Yes, Mr. Board President, at this time, we have Jennifer Garcia, our secondary RLA coordinator, and Kristen Smith, our 3rd through 5th ELA coordinator, and they will present an update on the 25-26 District Improvement Plan, which is our priority number 4, Extended Constructive Responses.
Good evening, President Tolliver, members of the board, and Superintendent Smith-Faulkner. It is a pleasure to be here tonight to share progress on our update of a vital component of our instructional framework, our district priority regarding extended constructed responses. Our roadmap for student success is defined by our core priorities seen here, and today we're going to focus specifically on priority number 4, extended constructed responses as outlined in the district improvement plan. Our goal is to reduce the frequency of 0 scores on the extended constructed response by 10% across all RLA STAR assessed grade levels by June 2026. Unlike typical data trends, a decrease here is positive. It indicates that more students are demonstrating success in writing. Before looking at the data, it is important to note that benchmark 3 is the same assessment as the 2025 STAR, and because of this, the comparisons you will see are an apples-to-apples comparison, which allows us to confidently measure our progress toward our goal. Turning our attention to the data, the next slides illustrate where we currently stand in relation to that 2026 goal. The top row of the chart on the left represents the number of testers by language. The row below reflects our 2025 STAR extended constructed response baseline, specifically the percentage of students who received a score of 0. In English, 53% of students scored a 0, and in Spanish, 36% scored a 0. This baseline percentage is represented by the red bars on the graph to the right. The significant number of zeros was a key factor that contributed to our decline in the 2025 STAR last year. Our goal is to reduce the percentage of zeros by 10%, which brings our target to 43% in English and 26% in Spanish.
Just a minute, Kristen. Angela, can you fix where you're pushing the button to go forward so it's not over her data? Thank you.
These targets are represented by the dark blue bars in the graph. Okay? The final row reflects the benchmark 3 results, which is our most recent data point before STAR. Currently, 32% of English testers earned a 0, and 27% of Spanish testers earned a 0, placing us just 1% above the goal. The results are represented by the light blue bars in the graph. Because lower percentages actually indicate stronger student performance, our goal is for the light blue bars to meet or fall below the blue target line. Ultimately, our goal remains to continue to reduce the number of 0 scores on that student writing. So we want the blue to be lower, the light blue. Moving to 4th grade, we continue to see a positive trend in the student performance. The 2025 STAR baseline shows that 34% of English testers and 19% of Spanish testers received a 0 on the extended constructed response. Our benchmark 3 indicates that the percentage of English testers scoring a 0 has decreased to 24%, showing that we have met our goal. The Spanish data tells a slightly different story. This group began with a much stronger baseline, as only 19% of students had scored that 0. So with our 10% reduction target, 9% is quite ambitious. And while we have not reached the target yet, we do continue to work to further reduce the amount of 0s for those Spanish testers. Our 5th grade results show both our English and Spanish testers have not only met their targets, but they've significantly surpassed them. In 5th grade English, we set a target of 28% 0s, and at benchmark 3, we're currently seeing only 14% 0s. And in the Spanish side, we saw similar excellence. Against a goal of 26% 0s, our students achieved an impressive 11% 0 score.
Good evening. As we shift to secondary RLA, please note that we followed the same slide setup. As we strive to hit our goals for ECRs in grades 6 through 8, please note that we have exceeded this goal in 7th grade with an 18% drop in 0s from STAR of last year. As we continue to challenge our 6th and 8th grade teachers to meet our 10% decrease, we know how difficult that is based on already low percentages of 0 scored on last year's STAR, very similar to what Kristen was just speaking to on 4th grade Spanish test. Now, as we look at our current performance at the high school level, it is important to note that while we haven't met our DIP goal, benchmark 3 again is the release STAR 2025 assessment, and we are happy to report that there is a decrease in the 0 scored essays. While we want to do our best to provide a predictable outcome by utilizing release STAR exams, it is important to recognize that the rigor of the ECR prompt can vary by grade level. In addition, the vocabulary and background knowledge required to fully enter a text may differ from one assessment to the other. These factors can significantly impact our students' ability to demonstrate success on the ECR portion of the assessment. As mentioned, we use the latest STAR for our spring benchmarks as we feel it does provide us with the best tool we have to assess our students' current ECR success. Here we have listed some of the many moves we are making from the district level of support. After the winter break, we transitioned to using a new AI tool for writing feedback. This shift was made after careful consideration of the gaps we noted in our previous AI feedback platform, which can be reviewed in the bulleted list. This shift to Magic School not only cuts down on the very small amount of time educators have to process data, but also allows our teachers to focus their attention on the art of teaching and honing their teaching skills. Within our guiding documents, we continue to provide the included curriculum support. We would like to highlight that although our focus remains on writing instruction, we understand the impact of reading comprehension and its ability to help students write stronger essays, and we continue to reinforce research and evidence-based reading comprehension strategies as part of our DIP considerations. Additionally, we ensure that all students practice all of the possible assessed writing modalities before the STAR assessment each year. As we look at the coming weeks, we have created a multi-week STAR-aligned boot camp for all tested levels, including a separate camp for our EOC retesters that started this afternoon, actually this morning. Additionally, we continue to improve Magic School writing support for both teachers and students as we continue to gather feedback from both stakeholder groups. We would like to end with a few celebrations. As mentioned, Magic School has been well received across the system. We implemented a new system where Magic School is the second scorer, which is the same setup we have at the state level for grading our ECRs. Additionally, this program provides a multi-layered feedback system that includes not only concentrations for high-leverage instructional moves, but also writing conference scripts that teachers report have been very helpful in their instruction. We are in the process of integrating scripted writing guidance and how-to models as examples for teachers to give them a clearer understanding of the instructional moves that will have the greatest impact on student success. And finally, we are excited about the stronger StarLine feedback that Magic School is providing to our students, as seen in this targeted feedback with specific moves for our students and what they can do right now. We appreciate your time and welcome any questions.
I'm just wondering, on the data, is it the same cohort, like third grade is the same group of kids from 2025 to 2026, or?
It's not the same cohort. We're doing like accountability would, right? So we're looking at how did third grade perform, and then how is third grade performing this year.
But the same number of kids? I guess that's why I was a little
There could be a
confused.
difference in number. That depends on how teachers, assess what their language of testing should be. So there could be slight difference in the number of testers.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Item 5B, ADSY, Summer School Program Offerings, Dr. Richland.
Yes, Mr. Board President, at this time, Dr. June Richland, our Executive Director of Educational Leadership, will provide an overview of our additional day school year summer school offerings for the 2026 summer.
Good evening, Board of Education. Ms. Smith-Faulkner, Board President. Thank you for the opportunity. You know, I always enjoy speaking about our summer programs. It is one of the things that we do here in Castleberry that I love and I believe makes a big difference for our students. Our theme this year is Camp Discovery, Lead Your Learning. We're excited about this new theme. So first, by popular demand, we are bringing back our two preschool programs. This is our Early Start program. This is just for those of you who may not recall, this program is for our 3-year-old students. We invite them to come with their parents or their grandparents once a week during our 4-week program. During this time, they work with one of our certified teachers who provides them with materials and resources and teaches the parents how to use those resources with their children so that they can become their child's first teacher. We believe that this helps to set the stage for pre-K. Our next program is our Jump Start program. Now, this program is a little different. This is for our 4-year-olds, our incoming pre-K students. They are invited to spend a half day with us throughout the entire summer program. So their program is from 8:30 to 11:30. And so what that does for them, as you might imagine, it acclimates them to the school. They become familiar with their teachers, procedures, routines, and it makes a significant difference. Our pre-K teachers love this program. What they find is that they are able to start the fall off really moving quickly because they already know the students, routines and procedures are in place. We also have an additional layer in this program. The parents are invited to come on Mondays. So they come for about an hour on Mondays. They really enjoy it. They go into the classroom with their child. And again, we provide them with materials and resources, and the teachers teach them how to use those resources with their kids. I do want to point out the data in the bottom left-hand corner. Notice that this is comparing all kindergartners who are kindergarten ready in 24-25 compared to those who attended pre-kindergarten. And so I think that that's data that proves that pre-K is very important. And although our summer program is only one piece of that, we know that by setting them up for success, by bringing them in early, that we are ensuring that they're able to really hit the ground running once they start school. On this next slide, I have a bit more data here for you. So when you look at our pre-K proficiency in all subjects, this is from the Texas Public Pre-Kindergarten Assessment results. You can see when you compare us to the state that we had 73% of our students considered proficient at the end of the year, and the state was right at 60%. So we know that, again, summer is not everything, but we know that it is a factor. All of the things that we do, our after-school program, everything that we provide throughout the school year, we know that all of that incorporated helps to make the difference with our kids. And again, summer is one of those components that we do believe is a factor. If we move on to the next slide, here you'll see all of our offerings for this summer. Of course, we're continuing our ADC with enrichment program, pre-K through 5th grade at all 3 of our campuses. We are also, this is actually new. We've always offered our program at the middle school, but this is the first year that they're eligible for ADC. Of course, we won't see any of that funding this year, so that's important that you know that that funding won't come until next year. And that is 6th through 9th grade, meaning current 8th graders going into 9th grade. We also offer our STEM Academy program. We do this each year. This helps to jumpstart our students who are at the elementary level that will be moving into our STEM Academy, so they're able to become acclimated and familiar with other students and how the program will function. We also will continue to provide our 10th through 12th grade program. This is for end-of-course STAR preparation, as well as credit recovery and acceleration. Notice it will be provided at Irma Marsh, and that's, of course, because of the construction that's taking place at the high school. We will offer our TSIA preparation program for students who did not pass their TSIA assessment during the school year. And then, of course, we're excited about our early college high school program. This is very similar to the STEM Academy program. These are middle school students who will be entering our early college high school program in the fall. And then, as always, we are continuing to partner with ACE for enrichment. Not only are we offering a variety of fun opportunities for our students, fun and engaging opportunities, we are also continuing to provide that at all 3 levels. So that's elementary, middle, and high school for 8th grade going into 9th at the high school level, as well as climate and culture building. We know that that made a big difference, and we saw an influx of enrollment due to that, and our students and parents both have liked the climate and culture components that we've added in the last few years. Again, we will be heavily focused on our theme. And then the family engagement events that we've added, our parents have really enjoyed those, and so we will continue that this year as well. That's all I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So how will we be funding the middle school ADC? So this year, we have a very, very tight budget. We are working to ensure that we are able to fund that. So Ms. Smith-Faulkner, I may want to touch on this, but we're of course working with ACE and through ACE. And ADC funding that we had from this last year that was put aside, we're using those funds. And then Ms. Smith-Faulkner, if you want to add anything to that, but I feel like I've covered it.
Yeah,
It's
and
tight.
we are working on the budget so that it will be a balanced budget. And so some of our classes might be a little larger than previously, but the great thing about this is based on the advocacy that we did on additional day school year with Commissioner Marath and the last legislative session approving of the funding. So we want as many kids as we can get because it's going from 0.5 ADA to 0.75 ADA, and it's also now including 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and we had about 200 students that were at the middle school. So we will receive the funding in September that next year we'll be able to have probably some lower teacher to student
Yes.
ratios. Okay.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 5C, TIA designated teachers. Ms. Walker.
Yes, Mr. Board President, Ms. Walker will present an overview of the Castleberry ISD's teacher incentive allotment plan, which includes a timeline and the 2026 preliminary designations pending class roster winter submission verification.
Good evening, School Board and Superintendent. Tonight, I'm going to provide a brief update on the Teacher Incentive Allotment, or TIA. That's where we get to reward teachers by giving them an incentive for having solid growth measures and effective classroom instruction. We use this kind of as a reward, a retention, and a recruitment tool. So we have developed our local designation system already. We've submitted our first group of designees and awarded our first allotments this past August. And this year, we submitted our second group of designees based on data captured during the 2024-2025 school year. And I'm happy to announce that our data was validated by the state, and we will be able to add more designees this spring in April. And we'll continue to expand and add additional eligible assignments as we continue through. In fact, for the 2025-2026 school year, we have added social studies, kindergarten, and first grade that we are adding as eligible assignments and continuing to capture data for that so that we can designate those and submit that next fall. Now for some celebrations. First, in 2025, we awarded 8 employees a recognized distinction. These employees earned an additional pay above their salary between $5,900 and $6,600, depending on their home campus. These teachers represent the top 33% of teachers in Texas. In 2025, we also awarded 19 employees representing the top 20% of Texas teachers an exemplary designation. These teachers earned additional pay between $11,000 and $13,000 above their base salary. And finally, in 2025, we submitted 3 teachers master distinction, and these teachers represent the top 5% of Texas teachers, and they earned over $21,000 above their base salary. So that's very exciting. Now, earlier I mentioned that our 24-25 data had been validated by the state and that we will be adding more designees. We are adding new designees, but we also can redesignate someone if they earn a distinction that's higher than what they already hold. So here you can see the number of designees for 2025, and then below that, the number of anticipated designees for 2026 who will receive allotments. These new designees and the redesignees will be announced in April after the state verifies their eligibility. So our data's been validated, but now we've got to make sure that all of the candidates actually hold all the correct credentials and meet all of the eligibility requirements set by the state. So based on these preliminary numbers, we anticipate increasing from 31 designated teachers to 56 designated teachers. And this does not include those who transferred this year who already had a designation when they came to us. So that's very exciting. So once that eligibility is verified, we will notify our new designated teachers and our redesignated teachers in April, and then the allotment amounts will be determined by the state. Again, each year those change a little bit based on the socioeconomic status, rural districts. The state has a magic formula where they figure that out. And then we will again issue those allotments in August. Now, I'm also excited to let you know that the state is adding a brand new designation level beginning in the fall of 2026. So those teachers who are eligible this year will be eligible for this new designation starting in the fall of 26. And that's called acknowledged, and that's going to represent the top 50% of teachers in Texas. So it's going to open it up to allow for us to even designate more teachers. I'm happy to answer any questions, except for the names of our new designees. Thank you. Thank you.
Item 5D, 2024 Castleberry High School Bond Program Construction Update. Mr. Holloman.
Yes, Mr. Board President, Mr. Holloman will present a construction update on the 2024 Castleberry High School Bond Program.
Thank you, Board President Tolliver, board members, and Superintendent Smith-Faulkner. Let's jump right into it. Exciting times. I will start by saying, as we go through it, we drilled our first pier on February 22nd, 2025. So we are 1 year and 2 weeks into the process. So it's really amazing the success that we've had to this point. 3 things that I remind you of every month. I'd like to remind you again, we are staying on time, within budget, and meeting all of our safety protocol, and nothing has changed this month. As you can see, infrastructure, we're moving right along. We've actually had some progress with Encore, the city of Fort Worth, and so a lot of those things getting turned over. I'll show you some pictures and results of that. Renovations as well. We'll continue the renovations throughout the summertime. And then new construction will go until January, hopefully. But as of now, we don't see any reason that that wouldn't happen. Our timeline. So some of the things we've done is put our bid in for furniture. We're set to go for summer, grading the front entrance of the area where the job trailer was. I've got some pictures of our learning stairs. It's very exciting stuff right there. The transformer is put in. As a result of that, if you'll see number 6, we are scheduling our startup of our mechanical equipment, and why that is so important is because we're just about dried in a lot of areas. We need that startup, we need that controlled air in order to put flooring in and things that you'll see are not quite in yet, but all the other areas are coming along just fine. We did get our utility pole where our front entrance and our drive is relocated, so we've got some follow-up on the actual lines and the lighting. And last but not least, our furnitures, FF&E, are set to start going in the summertime. Good stuff. From a financial standpoint, we still look very good. The big one is right there in the middle. We're about 60 to 62% complete. We've paid out about 55, 56% of our funds. So we're staying just ahead. It's very important to, I guess that 4% equates to about $2.5 million, which is basically one pay period. So perfect from that standpoint. And then we have 62% of our soft costs left. A lot of that will start going in with our finishes and things. Some glamour shots for the crowd. This is connector. So you can see we've got some paint going in. A lot of our mechanical equipment has already been installed within, and a lot of our glass, I would say over half of our glass throughout the entire building. This is our famous classroom that everybody got to look at the skyline of Fort Worth through, so you can see each month. Even there, a little bit to the left, that's some of our accent wall going in, so we've got a pretty navy blue going in once the sheetrock is up. This is a little panoramic of Area A. So this, again, is the area that will open in January, but I wanted you all to see how far we've come. They're basically, a lot of our subs are moving right along from Area C and B and jumping over to Area A. Now, some of this will slow down, but that's pretty good to have a lot of our drywall, tape and float, and mechanical equipment and above ceiling MEP going in. So good stuff there. This is just a site. I just took this today because I was walking through. This is Commons in Area A, and this is where the students can hopefully get to class, but stop and check out the kids running on the track. This is from Churchill. This will be our front entrance at the connector. So it's really coming together. There'll be a pretty little courtyard area here, and I'll progressively show you guys pictures each month. But it finally started to look like a front facade, and so I wanted to take a picture and show you all the progress that we've made there. And here is our beautiful learning stairs. You can kind of see toward the right there, they're actually starting to go up. So that will be a stair step all the way down to where I'm standing taking the picture. And then to the right, some of our brick veneer. The dark is on bottom. This is the gym, the storm shelter, and a little lighter up top. It's really beautiful. The pictures don't do it justice, or I just need to upgrade my camera. But Abigail doesn't trust me with that expensive stuff yet. So, and then lastly, I just want to say we are utilizing some available funds as we go, both Lenny with our soft cost and then some extra funds that we have within the GMP in areas to upgrade as far as utilizing technology and things like that. So that brings me to point 2, and I've introduced Centrix a couple of months now, but we are focusing on taking that same mentality and focusing on 2 things. A, we know 2 things are for certain, that funding is starting to decrease more and more, and the cost of operating and repair is increasing. So to allocate what would equate to about $1 or $2 million annually in order to keep up with roofing, HVAC, and large budget numbers that we have for those items, would take sacrifices in a lot of other areas. So we have a very unique opportunity to reduce our spending on our utilities and use that savings in order to kind of catch us up, and basically what I would say is get us back to ground zero. The second thing we'll do in that process is take some of those innovative technology ideas that we're putting currently into our new high school and standardize that throughout the district. So just by doing that, there's also going to be some built-in savings, because now Rigo and his crew will be operating with one type of electronic controls for HVAC. Most of our HVAC would be standardized, about 70–75% of the district would be standardized, and then roofing would kind of be caught up to where we are now. The biggest thing there is that throughout the year, we don't have a, $200,000–300,000 hiccup that we really would have to do extreme circumstances in order to repair. So with that said, I will be letting Centrix come up and talk more about where we are with their project, but we've done a diligent job of focusing on what their scope will be, and there's processes in place of third-party engineering that they'll explain, financial gathering of different options that we have, and then lastly, legal review. So anything we do will have several steps in process for checks and balances for the district in order to protect us on whatever endeavors that we take. So do we have any questions on any of those items? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
It'll get
Mr. Holman.
really good moving forward.
Now, item 5E, implementing Texas Education Code 44.901 to update district infrastructure for the purpose of decreasing long-term operational costs.
It's a mouthful. Thank you, Board President. Appreciate that. Thank you for having us again, board members, Superintendent Smith-Faulkner and administration. It's good to see you again. I do appreciate also being able to follow Cameron every month in this, because it's nothing but good news from him. So I'm going to keep that going tonight. Very brief comments. Actually, only two items today. So we'll talk about the recommended project scope that the leadership has directed us to. Go ahead, Angela. Actually, the next two, this and the next two slides, really just show where in the district we're going to make the most impact with these scopes of work. Option one included looking at the chillers at the elementary school. Go ahead, Angela. Option two is no chillers, and then option three was using the controls that are already here, already in place, and just integrating them with some technology that lets them talk to the new controllers you have at the high school. What we decide, if you go back one now, threw a curveball at you tonight. What we've been directed to by the leadership is that this is the best option that makes the most impact for the district in the right places. And so as you can kind of see, this is where those scopes of work would be implemented across the district. And I apologize, next month I'll make that bigger so that we can see that. Okay, so from there, talk about the project benefits, if you'll go right there. As Cameron mentioned, one of the directives from district leadership was we want to standardize. There are cost savings there. It just makes a lot of sense that what you're putting in at your high school, we want to standardize across the district. That saves on training, that saves on maintenance, the whole 9 yards. And so we want to make sure that that is shown throughout our project as well. We're also talking about phasing out all the obsolete refrigerants in your HVAC portfolio. So those have been discontinued, and they're really expensive to go find nowadays. And they're, like I said, they've been phased out because of the environmental considerations as well. The recommended scope that district leadership has directed us to also offers you the biggest flexibility when it comes to financing thereof. And so we've really hit a sweet spot in that way. And then the project timeline, I'm excited about this because I always love a good ribbon cutting. As you are cutting the ribbon for the new high school in January, we also expect this to be wrapped up, okay? So that's what we're going to push ourselves on and hold ourselves accountable to, and we think that's gonna be a great time for everyone here, okay? Scopes, so these are the next steps as we kind of finish up now. Scope selection is about 95% done. Actually, if you can go to the next slide. This next slide is just the previous slide turned on the side. About 95% there. HVAC and controls, we're just fine tuning, the scope there. Funding, as soon as the district has landed 100% on that final scope, the funding steps can take place, and we'll have those done. Legal, that's the third-party engineering review. If you'll recall, that's what keeps you guys safe from, from the performance issues that could arise. The third party will validate everything that we say about this project is true. And the attorney is, I believe, reviewing right now the terms and conditions of our contract, so that'll be all done. And then at the next board meeting, we hope to come with the recommended scopes of work by the district leadership for your approval. So that's where we are now. I believe that's it. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you, Mr. Christensen. Item 5B, Budget Work Session 2, School Finance. 5F, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Board President. At this time, we have William Wooten, our Chief Financial Officer, and he's going to be presenting the Budget Workshop Session 2 on our school finance budget and our assumptions for next school year.
All right, good evening, Mr. President, Board of Education, and Superintendent. Tonight, I'll walk you through our current financial outlook and the framework we're using to build next year's budget. Let me begin with the key discussion points for tonight. First, I'll walk you through our current year-end estimate. Board, at this stage of the fiscal year, what we provide is an estimate. It's not the final number. It reflects the best professional assessment based on the data that we have today. So this data is current as of February. Once we land on and get a good estimate, then we work on assumptions, right? So when we build assumptions, we base assumptions on what we believe things are going to increase. Like TRS, we believe TRS is going to go up, and other operational drivers that shape the financial outlook of the 26-27 budget. After setting those assumptions, the next question becomes, how are we allocating the funds across campuses? So with campuses, we use the consistent model, campus allocation model. And then the final steps, I will outline the next steps in the budget timeline. But board, please note, in this process, we will continue to refine the budget estimates. It's going to be ongoing for the next 2 or 3 months. We will continue to update assumptions and until we deliver a formal budget for adoption to the board. Next slide. All right, so this is a very important slide, obviously. Based on the current year collections and current year spending trends, the key question becomes, where do we expect the district to end the year financially? To answer that question, I'll walk you through our current year end estimates based on the information we have today. So this slide shows our current general fund year estimates. If you look at the collection side, we expect that the district will collect approximately 99% of our $48.6 million budget. Not bad, but what determines how much we collect is, in Texas school finance, those collections are primarily driven by, we've been talking about student enrollment, ADA, property values, and other weighted funding that we really have no control. As you say, any one of those changes in those funding elements can move the needle either left or right. And so right now, we're projecting to collect 99%. Let's talk about the expense side. We plan, as every other school district plan when they adopt a budget, they plan to spend 100% of that budget. But in practice, several things occur. We don't spend 100%. Position field rates are not always filled at 100%. We always have open vacancies. And campuses and departments typically don't spend all of their allocations. Even though they try, we keep a good eye on it. Last thing I want to talk about is the net change in fund balance. So we're projecting right now, based on the data we have as of February, is that we're going to land in a budgetary deficit. Okay? So that's not saying that we're actually going to land in a deficit. We're going to continue to do the projections, continue to monitor the budget, and we'll come back to the board with more details. So another helpful way to understand the district's finances is to look at how every dollar in the general fund is spent. As you can see, where every dollar goes, 85 cents out of every dollar goes to teachers and staff. And then we spent a lot of time talking about the 15% of that budget. So this basically says people drive the work of educating students, and payroll is the largest cost driver in any school district. And so as I said before, this is not a compensation discussion. We're going to talk about compensation later, but this is to give you an idea of where we're going to spend the 15% of that dollar. We talk about department operations, utilities, contracts, and campus operations. And so Catherine and I will later begin that compensation discussion. But I just wanted you to know that 85% of that dollar is driven and tied to the classroom and staff. Next, let's talk about the key assumptions guiding in the development of the next budget process. So we believe that these assumptions are true. First, TRS Active Care, which is the state medical insurance program for school district employees. We are planning for approximately 10% increase in health insurance premiums, with final rates to be determined by the TRS board on May 1st. Last year, the rate increased about 9.5, 9.6 from the basic plan, of course. These assumptions will impact the district benefit costs and employee contributions. Next are the state funding drivers that shape our funding outlook. For planning purposes, we're planning to build a budget on 3,658 students. Property values are going to be less than 2.5%. The district attendance rate is 92%, and we believe that the M&O rate will stay flat at 0.7469. We do know that the total M&O rate is $1.2469, but we're only talking about the Tier 1, Tier 2 tax rate, which is the 61 pennies plus the 13 copper and golden pennies. Finally, one positive assumption that we can talk about is that effective June 26, our electricity agreement rate, our electricity rate dropped from 3.99 kilowatt per hour to 3.4. Right now, they're estimating savings of $40,000 annually. And this is a 6-year contract, so we locked into that rate, which is pretty impressive. The next slide, please. So these are the 3 primary funding drivers for the district. Always student enrollment. Student counts are very important. We're projecting a decrease of 100 students. That could change in a couple months. Local property values, we're planning to stay within 2.5%. Here's the deal. If property values increase greater than 2.5%, compression happens. And if compression happens, that means our M&O tax rate goes down. Now, as the superintendent says, the net's still the same. We talked last time about our entitlement funding. TEA knows what we need to educate every student in this district, and so there will be some adjustments for that. Next slide. So based on the state funding template and the data that we have as of February, we believe that we're going to collect about $44.7 million in cash, and that's the split between property tax collection is $10.7 million, state aid collections $33.6, and federal funds are pretty much flat at about $300,000, and that's SHAR's indirect cost. This is important because the next slide, I'm going to show you that this slide includes the TRS on behalf, which is, the TRS on behalf is what the state pays part of the health cost for our staff. The state sends that payment right to TRS, not to the school, but we have to budget for it, right? So you're saying that the 44.7? Yeah, that the 44.7 is what we anticipate receiving in cash. But the $2.5 million that's added to it is pretty much a book entry. And it's a rule that we must show it as both a pay in and a payout, even though the school district never gets the cash. Here's an easy analogy. Think of it as like this. A bill is yours, but someone else pays it for you. So that's kind of what the state does, so they can keep track of the TRS on behalf for retirement purposes. Next slide. So next, we look at the non-payroll portion of the budget. The district level non-payroll budget is projected at approximately $7.2 million. There's an increase of $224,000. And there's some cost drivers that are built into that. Inflation for contracts. We're planning on doing some upgrades in technology, student devices. And so this is the preliminary non-payroll budget. Believe me, by the time you get to the formalized budget, it's going to change. We're going to have a lot of ideas, and the superintendent's going to guide that budget discussion as well. Okay. So once the baseline budget is established, now let's look at how campuses are allocated. So basically, this is our campus allocation methodology, campus funding, how campus funding is determined. Campus funding is determined by a campus allocation model. Basically, let's take AV Cato. We believe that next year that 590 students will be enrolled. And we also believe that 95% of those students will come to school every day. And so those that come to school every day, we're going to multiply their attendance by per student allocation. And so we're creating a budget. The campus budget for AV Cato is projected to be $36,433. Last point I want to say about this, campus allocation is a formula driven to ensure that funds follow students in attendance. The state does it the same way. Attendance go up, we get more state funding. It goes down, we get less state funding. Next slide. All right, big slide. So total cost pressure is about $3.2 million. The purpose of this slide, I wanted to show you that these are the major cost drivers to run a school, right? This is we budgeted utilities, $1.4 million. These are not actual costs. This is what we budgeted for this current year as a preliminary. Contracts of $1 million. Our district property insurance, car insurance, property insurance is about $560,000. As we said, we don't know about TRS medical. We will find out more after the April 30 TRS board meeting. But now we believe that there's a possible 10% increase after talking to the vendor this previous week. Next slide. And board, these are next steps in the budget timeline. The next closest thing we're going to do is the budget workshop number 3. It's going to be April 6th. What's important about this slide too is April 30 is the preliminary taxable values. I'm going to work with the chief appraiser to make sure that we get a good estimate of what we think we're going to look like, because you want to know something by April 6th. It's a good projection. And pending any questions, I'm going to give you a chance to look at this slide. Well, thank you, board. Mr. President, pending any questions from the board, that's all I have, sir.
Any questions?
This might be a dumb question, but going back to slide 11, and the school, or the campus allocations, like what do they do with that? Like I'm looking at REACH and they get $3,645. And I'm thinking, poor Mr. Lemus, what does he do with that? Or what can't he do with that?
Yes, ma'am.
We can follow up with some specifics. I can
curious,
follow up
yeah.
with it, yes, so we don't answer
Thank you.
on the spot.
Thank you.
But I want to drive the point that the campus allocations are driven by the campus improvement plan. So basically, in my mind, where I sit, if every dollar needs to be driven towards kids for the campus improvement plan, not buying Domino's cakes and cookies, right? So unless you're buying for kids. So that's basically a big picture of what I think. Soup, she knows better than I, so she'll speak to it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think we all appreciate that you're tying the budget back to students, and that's our goals that we've always talked about. So thank you so much for that. Great report for us, Don.
Thank you.
Very easy to understand.
Thank you.
And this is just a real quick question, probably a curiosity question, maybe not. But water utility bills, do they come from Fort Worth, Sansom Park, and River
You know what? That's a good question. I've seen the bills. Let me get back with you on that one. We pay them every month.
That is
I
more than
I
okay.
think Mr. Lasher, because we've been auditing them, I think Mr. Lasher can answer where all they come from.
Yes, that is correct. Depending on what city entity it comes from. Mainly Fort Worth, because a lot of times River Oaks outsources their water to them.
Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome.
I just want to reiterate something that's very, very important that Mr. Wooten shared, just to be sure you understand. We decreased our enrollment by 100 students this year. We're estimating that we will decrease another 100. The importance of transfer students, we know that we have our open enrollment open right now, so sharing the great things that we're doing at Castleberry becomes very important. So that we're bringing in new students into our little 7 square miles or 6 square miles an area, because we are densely populated with about 3,750. But we know that there is a struggle for all districts. We're competing all for students at low birth rates, students moving out of our area. And so I just think that the reason we see the trend, and I have more information I'll be sharing with the cabinet tomorrow, that is the trend that's being shared with the superintendents at Region 11. So we're going to go ahead and when we build our budget, that we're going to go ahead and decrease by 100, but we're going to be watching it, and his assumptions that he's making, building the budget on, may change based on that.
Right. And we'll move on to item 6A. Mr. Wooten,
Yeah, I like this one.
budget update, finance monthly
Thank you.
update.
Thank you. All right, Mr. President, Board of Education Superintendent, thank you for allowing me to give the budget update from July 1st to February 28th. Next slide. So today's discussion points are a budget snapshot, budget financial performance, and then next steps in the action plan. So as of February 28th, we've collected about 75% of our funds. As we said before, we believe we're going to collect 99% of it. We've spent 55% of our funds, and so right now, net change of fund balance is $3.2 million to the good. So overall, we've collected about 62% of our state funds. January was a big collection month. We collected taxes, ad valorem taxes, and we're pretty much done with collecting taxes. You know, we're getting delinquent taxes now because everybody pretty much paid their taxes. Hopefully by February 1st. If it wasn't paid by February 1st, it becomes delinquent taxes. We're in payment class 1. We still have a few more state payments left. In federal funds, I'm trying to be hopeful, but that is a slow collection process as it relates to federal funds. Next slide. So the next steps, we're going to meet in April. I'm going to continue to monitor the budget performance and close out open purchase orders. And so once we close out purchase orders on March 12th, we're going to pretty much stop spending, and we're going to know exactly what's left available in the budget. And then we'll come back with more projections at the next board meeting. Mr. President, pending any questions from this short slideshow, that's all I have.
Just real quickly on the tax collections at 62%, and this is kind of off the top of your head question. What is our normal percentage rate of?
We typically collect about 98, 99%.
Was it that high?
Well, it's very high. I believe at one point it's 100%, but we typically collect about tax collection, 98, 99. So we collect a lot of our taxes. Now, we still have, so in the tax process, every district has prior year taxes that haven't been collected for the past 10, 12 years. And so the tax collectors are constantly trying to collect those taxes. And so one year you can have a big jump, and next year you don't have a big jump. So we depend on our prior year tax collections as well as our delinquent tax collections as well. So,
And so our tax attorneys, Brandon Purdue, are the ones who go and collect those
That's
delinquent
correct.
taxes for us.
that's correct. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
Board, Superintendent.
On to item number 7. At this time, the board will retire to closed session under Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 through 551.076 and 551.08 through 551.083 to discuss the items listed on the agenda. The time is 6:57 PM.
do. Correct, we practiced it today, we talked about, and then they know that when they finish this part with the destination success line, then they all go back to their seats except for my next two readers.
Okay. And then your staff members.
and directed by Mr. McCall.
It is 7:30 p.m. As we continue tonight's meeting, we welcome all who have joined us as we keep asking how we can best promote and encourage achievement for every student in our district. The mission of Castleberry Independent School District is inspiring and empowering all students to be innovative thinkers in the global community. At this time, we will begin with the pledges of allegiance. Ms.
Yeah.
Faulkner.
Yes, Mr. Board President, at this time, I believe we have Evan and Simone who's going to lead us in our pledges. If you'll come on up.
I pledge allegiance of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, one visible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the pledge of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please raise your paw and repeat after me. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. C.E. born true. C.E. born and true. Lions leading all we do. Lions leading all we do. Together we soar. Together we soar. Roar, lions, roar. Roar, lions, roar.
Now wonderfully on to item 8C, Mr. Gideon.
Sorry, I get so excited. I forgot I was actually coming up here to say something. Hey, thank you, board, Hey, I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to show how CE is thoroughly on their way to destination success.
In a school far, far away. Actually, if you look through that window right there, you can see it. Okay, so not that far away, but it is a pretty special place that knows exactly where it's going. Destination success. It's not just a slogan, it's the journey we're on every day. Sometimes the road is smooth. Sometimes it's bumpy. But either way, we've got this. On every journey, there are special stops along the way, the kind that make learning feel exciting. And sometimes delicious. One of our favorite stops was candy-coated curriculum night. Our families didn't just come to school, they traveled through it. They visited each grade level to see what we're learning, and even tried STAR-style questions just like we do. Except they had candy. It helped our parents understand what success looks like at each grade level and how they can help us get there. Another stop on our journey helped us see where learning can take us. Mega Machine Takeover. Families got to explore careers that use big vehicles, and we didn't just look, we climbed in. We asked questions, explored, and imagined ourselves in those jobs someday. Students from CHS even came to help us learn about the CTE pathways. It helped us connect what we're learning now to where we might be going next. These events aren't only fun stops. They help guide us toward destination success. And every step of the way, we've got this. There's a special part of the story that we're really proud of. Did you know that some of our classmates' parents not only work at our school, but at other schools across the district too? They choose Castleberry Elementary. In fact, over 50 of our students are kids, grandkids, and family members of the district staff. If you are a CISD employee with a student at CE, will you please stand?
When teachers and staff send their own kids to a school, that means they trust it.
They trust the learning. They trust the people.
And they really must like the car line.
That choice tells us we're on the right road. It reminds us that destination success isn't just where we're going. It's a place people believe in. And we've got this.
Every great story has a legend.
Ours is called the Spirit Stick. You have probably seen it in our Student of the Month pictures.
At the Back to School pep rally, teachers from all over the district competed for it.
It's earned by showing over-the-top spirit, big enthusiasm, and a lot of school pride.
And guess what?
Our teachers won it.
Again.
For the second year in a row.
Oh, speaking of the second year in a row.
We didn't tell them yet, did we?
No, but I will. Our school was voted DFW's favorite elementary school 2 years in a row. That means families all across the community voted, not because they had to, but because they wanted to.
They see what happens here every day.
The learning, the care, the spirit.
When a whole community believes in a school,
that tells you you're headed in the right direction.
In fact, that direction led us to earn a B this year too.
Destination success. We've got this.
Next, I would invite some of our classmates to the front. Every great story has heroes.
And ours are really good spellers.
Raphael didn't just win the Castleberry Elementary Spelling Bee.
He came in third place for the entire region.
And Sophia?
She won the Castleberry Elementary Bilingual Spelling Bee.
The District Bilingual Spelling Bee.
And she represented us at the Regional Bilingual Spelling Bee.
Wow, but we're not only good at spelling, we had 3 District Science Fair winners.
In 5th grade, Anna earned first place and Elizabeth in third place.
In 4th grade, Benjamin earned 3rd place.
And yes, we're really good at math. And yes, we're really good at math too.
Our principal, Mr. Gideon, is actually known for being pretty great at math.
But not as great as the growing list of students who've beaten on math facts on fire.
Like Natalia,
Briley,
Victoria,
we should probably stop there, but we are all getting better at our facts.
These wins aren't just trophies.
They're proof of what happens when students like us are supported, challenged, and believed in. Destination success.
We've got this. We also want to recognize some amazing people who work at our school. Will the employees we are recognizing please come to the front?
Miss Tammy and our cafeteria staff are kind, friendly, and they keep us nourished with delicious food that helps us focus and learn.
And Miss Mack and Miss Warden received the Crust Award.
That stands for Counselors Reinforcing Excellence for Students in Texas, a prestigious honor from the Texas Counselors Association.
We already knew we had the best counselors, but we're really glad everyone else knows it now too.
And then we have Coach Ortiz.
She single-handedly creates our Cinco de Mayo performance every year, honoring Mexican culture by teaching our students traditional dances.
And if that wasn't enough, she coached ace soccer and taught folklorico.
Plus, she is fun to be around. Coach Ortiz is an important part of our school family.
And now the person that creates the soundtrack to our story, Dr. McCall.
She holds a doctorate in clarinet and earned her Corali Level 3 certification.
But what really makes her special isn't what just on paper, it's who she is every single day.
She's the best music teacher ever, but she is also a team player, brings a positive attitude to everything she does, and is someone our campus can always depend on.
These are just a few of the people who guide us every day.
They are the reason our journey works. Destination success. We've got this.
Every good story has a beginning,
A journey.
and people who make the journey possible.
In our story, you met the students who work hard, dream big, and try again.
You met the staff who guide us, support us, and believe in us.
Our story is not finished just yet,
The pages are still turning.
but we know where we're headed.
Destination success. We've got this.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
As you can tell, we are well on our way. But before we end, if you are a parent of any of CE's students, would you please stand to be recognized for the amazing job you're doing? Very thankful for each and every one of you. And then, of course, as it is a packed house, if you are a CE staff member, would you stand to be recognized as well? Hey! As you can tell, we've got the right things in place. And there's nothing sweeter than a repeater, y'all. I'm talking a three-peat. I want to be the Lakers. I want to be the Bulls. Let's make this happen. But anyways, thank you for allowing us to present Castleberry Elementary's Destination Success.
I need you to be my hype man, sir. We're going to go on to item 8D, the spelling bee. Ms. Schmidt?
Good evening again, President Tolliver, Board of Education, and Superintendent Smith-Faulkner. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize our amazing spelling bee champions from each elementary campus. The National Spelling Bee has been around for 9 decades. Each year, students from across the country participate in the Scripps National Spelling Bee in grades 3 through 5. Every year, the Scripps National Spelling Bee releases its list of campus spelling bee words. The list includes 450 words that students may study to prepare for their school-level spelling bee.
The Region 11 Education Service Center hosted the Regional Spanish Spelling Bee this past Friday, March 6, inviting students in 4th through 6th grade to participate. This year, 25 districts competed, and our district winner, Sofia Cesenas, proudly represented Castleberry ISD. Region 11 also released an official word list containing more than 1,100 words for students to prepare for the campus, district, and regional competitions.
This evening, we are recognizing both the English and Spanish Spelling Bee champions from across our 3 elementary campuses. As the names of our Spelling Bee winners are announced, they will come to the front to be recognized and remain until all winners are announced. We are first going to recognize the 2026-2025 English Spelling Bee winners. From A.V. Cato Elementary, I am pleased to present the campus champion, 4th grader Andrea Pera. The championship word Andrea spelled was ramshackle. From Castleberry Elementary, I am pleased to present the campus champion, 5th grader Rafael Gutierrez. The championship word Rafael spelled was suspicious. Rafael also represented Castleberry ISD at the regional spelling bee this past week, earning 3rd place at the regional level. From Joy James Academy of Leadership, I am pleased to present the campus champion, 5th grader Miguel Alvarez. The champion word Miguel spelled was poultry. Congratulations to all of our English Spelling Bee district winners and regional representatives. Students, you may now return to your seats.
We are now going to recognize our 2025-2026 Spanish Spelling Bee winners. From A.V. Cato Elementary, I am pleased to present to you 4th grader Alexa Pintor. The final word Alexa spelled was embrague. From Castleberry Elementary, I am pleased to present to you 5th grader Sofia Cecenas. The final word Sofia spelled was acolchado. Sofia was also our district winner and did a phenomenal job representing Castleberry ISD at the regional Spanish Spelling Bee this past week. Now, thank you. And now, from Joy James Academy of Leadership, I am pleased to present to you 5th grader Daniel Roldan. The final word Daniel spelled was prolífico. Last but not least, from Irma Marsh Middle School, I am pleased to present to you 6th grader Chris Rodriguez. The final word Chris spelled was extranjero. Congratulations to all of our Spanish Spelling Bee district winners and campus representatives. At this time, students may return to their seats.
We would now like to thank our spelling bee coordinators for both our English and Spanish spelling bees. We ask that you please stand and be recognized. I would also like to extend a thank you to the pronouncers, judges, teachers, staff, and administrators who have supported these fantastic spellers.
And at this time, would the parents of all of these fantastic spellers please stand to be recognized? En este momento nos gustaría invitar a todos los padres de nuestros grandiosos deletreadores a ponerse de pie para ser reconocidos y agradecerles por todo el apoyo que brindan a sus hijos.
Thank you for joining us today and recognizing our students.
Gracias por acompañarnos hoy a reconocer a nuestros estudiantes.
Let's give all of our spellers one last round of applause.
Vamos a dar un aplauso. Thank you.
Item 8E, Kelly James.
Good evening, President Tolliver, Superintendent Ms. Smith-Faulkner, and school board members. I'm excited to share with you some of the ways in which our students celebrated Black History Month. First grade students at AV Cato read about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and then wrote how they were going to let their light shine. Ms. Vieira, second grade, read a story about Rosa Parks and wrote about how she changed history and why she is remembered. Fourth graders at AV Cato researched famous African Americans and created flyers to share with their peers. Students at Castleberry Elementary researched a significant figure in Black culture. They researched their accomplishments, but also focused on the biggest life lessons that they had learned. Joy James not only enjoyed the jazz performances, but also fourth and fifth grade students created a museum and presented displays of Black Americans who had had a positive impact on our world. Students at Irma Marsh celebrated Black history in their hallways and in their social studies classrooms. Sixth grade created I Am poems about the Little Rock Nine. Seventh graders can be seen doing a gallery walk to learn about the Emancipation Proclamation, and eighth grade taught their peers about the Dred Scott's decision. Students at ALC highlighted famous Black women and men throughout history, and many of those students learned about the Civil Rights Movement and studied its impact in their U.S. history classes. At Castleberry High School, students celebrated Black History Month through daily announcements and library displays. World history students researched famous Black leaders, and U.S. history students studied the Civil Rights era. We continued our tradition of the high school jazz band performing for our elementary schools and at Sundance Square. Thank you to Fine Arts for their planning and direction, making these special performances happen for our students. Tonight's selection includes Song for My Father, one of the most frequently referenced jazz melodies composed by Horace Silver. Please welcome with me again the award-winning Lion Jazz Band. appreciate Mr. McCall, the band, and our soloist, Jesus Almanzo, on the alto saxophone, and on the trumpet, Ian Armendez. Thank you all for leading our Black History celebration and playing tonight. Please stand and be acknowledged if you are the parent of one of our Lion Jazz members. Thank you all for coming to play.
Thank you, man. We're going to take a few minutes and take some pictures and remember all these wonderful kids. And so, if you don't mind, we're just going to take a little break now and take some pictures. And Ms. Branch will direct the pictures. Who do you want, Frank?
Castleberry Elementary.
We'll move on to item 9. At this time, we will consider the consent agenda as presented. And that is several items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any further discussion? Tracy? Please indicate your vote. I'm sorry?
Just real quickly on the VenQ interactive flat panels, can you just tell us a little bit about what those look like?
Those are in the classrooms.
These are in,
Similar, yeah, every classroom but the high school, so in the new edition, it's for all the new classrooms. Yes.
Any further discussion? No, no, fine. Good question. Please indicate your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Now on to information items, number 10. Let's see, anything we need to address in A, B, or? Just information, okay. I think we've heard from Mr. Wooten already. Do we need to hear from him again?
No, those are information, so if you go to down school board.
Yeah.
10G is where
Yeah.
it starts.
Yeah. So,
Can I ask a question about 10E?
sure.
I know I've reached out to Lenny before on this, but a lot of our younger kids are playing at different school districts in Fort Worth ISD. And I was just curious about why can't we have them more like in our gyms instead of going out to Poly? Because we've gone out to different.
I reached out to Kenny Matthews, the LYSA president, with that question. From what I understand is, it seems like each year in the LYSA count, or in their league, it's very fluid with the number of teams that they have, whether that be with Lake Worth, White Settlement, some of the Fort Worth schools as well. We had this past year, I think we've had 3, if not 4, basketball events at our campuses, both at the middle school and the high school, with opening up that as far as any time that they would need it, as long as there's not an exception or a conflict with a high school or a middle school event. So that league and that schedule is driven, I think, kind of like our middle school league. I think they have different schools that drive that. In terms of safety or things of that nature, I reached out to them if they've had any issues at Poly or any of those schools. To my knowledge, they haven't, but we opened it up for them, but I think the schedule or the calendar is based on what that league is.
So when because we sometimes play against each other.
Mhm.
So, and then like we had I think a game at Northside, like 2 weeks or last week. Then we had one at Poly. So I was just curious, like, these are our CE kids and stuff, so why can't we? Yeah.
I can dig into it more, but I think it's probably a scheduling issue based on what they call their league. I think they probably want equal representation at their venues is what I would speculate. So.
Tried backing out and got out of my, is anything else in information items you want to go over? Is there anything else in the item 10? Any other item 10? Things, anybody? It's all just information? Okay. Yeah. Then we're on to 11A, Board Education Key Dates. Everybody have a calendar in front of themselves?
I'll be at Irma Marsh's open house on the 12th, obviously.
Okay.
We might go by Joy James tomorrow night, just because Leah likes to see some of her teachers, so we might be at Joy James tomorrow night. I'll see how she feels.
Anybody planning on India? So you said Joy James?
Yeah, I think we'll probably go to Joy James tomorrow night. She likes to see her teachers.
Okay,
And then we'll, obviously I'll be at Royal Marsh
sure.
Thursday. I'll go to CE
Okay.
tomorrow. And then I will also be at the Future Chefs on Friday nights.
Oh, that's right.
It's a funny event if y'all have never been.
No.
Thanks.
Then I will make it to the AV Cato open house. Is that the only one left out?
AV Cato, I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Is anybody available for the second grade musical performance on the 26th? CE?
I probably am.
Okay.
And then we can come to the other event here at the administration building, right? The National Honor Society, the National Art Honor Society.
What day?
Same day. Yeah, 26th.
Oh, that's right. Anything else under 11A? Athletic calendar. 11B, school board budget dashboard. Does anybody want to take a look at that? It's right there available to come back to if you need to, if nobody does. 11C, strategic plan progressing. Anything we need to hit on that? I will. Yeah, she's having trouble with the links tonight.
For the budget dashboard. But are we discussing that tonight?
No, we don't. There's
Okay.
nothing really update. The only thing I was, 11D, if, board committee discussions and updates, we discussed, in our training about workshops. And so my suggestion is we start having workshops to discuss the deeper items, the stuff we want to dig into, you know, whatever that may be. That's just going to require more time from us, but, you know, I think if we work together, we can figure some stuff out, so, yeah.
So will we see that on an agenda? Are you gonna make that an agenda item?
Yeah, I'll make that a future agenda item, but it's just discussion, board discussion right now.
And we
So-
said once a quarter?
So look forward to that.
Sure, yeah,
Once a quarter, is that what we said? Is that what they said in the training? Once a quarter is usually how often?
yeah. Yeah. So. And that brings us to, am I hearing consensus? Let me be clear. Am I hearing consensus that we want to move forward with workshops? Okay, good. At least
I want to move
a
forward to
discussion.
an understanding of it, yes.
Sure, okay. Well, we can bring it up again and have a better discussion about what it looks like, at least.
Advantages.
Yes, so it would be, another discussion will be on the next meeting.
Okay. I mean,
Does that make sense?
I would be interested in time commitments, advantages, and exactly, you know,
Sure.
workshops for what, of course, obviously.
I think one workshop that I talked to Dewey about was facilities and the needs assessment, for us to talk about that. So I know that's one. I also suggested do we want to do something in conjunction with the cities around us so that they understand kind of what are some of the suggestions that I have for our facilities going forward, and just how what's going on in the cities for them to share, because I met with Marvin and both of us are really oblivious to what each other are working on, and I think it'd be real beneficial to have a workshop where we're all in collaboration of what is going on in Sansom Park, what are we seeing for the future of River Oaks. We can even get someone from Fort Worth. I can get a contact there, and then what we're looking at for our district.
And then it's not necessarily something, it wouldn't be all board members on a committee workshop. They would report back to the board then what happened in the workshops.
That
Is
would be a committee. A workshop would be as many people as could be there.
So it would be a formal call.
Yeah, it's for a specific discussion. You know, like sometimes, one of the things they mentioned in the training was, you know, we don't want meetings to go to midnight or whatever it is. You know, these people have time, and so we want to honor that. So anything we want to discuss in depth or dig into in depth that don't deal with student outcomes, we talk, and correct me if I'm wrong, so.
Okay, so
Then-
that's the standard, okay.
Yeah, so we can have a workshop and deal through those specific issues, you know, and whatever that may be.
Yeah,
So-
I look forward to hearing more
Yeah.
about it. Sounds good.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, we talked around just having shorter meetings and having these workshops in between to kind of
Yeah.
build capacity within the board in a way that's not keeping us here till 11, you know, during the meeting. After we're all tired, like a fresh eye to explore different ways to learn as a board is what we talked about in workshops, being kind of like that bridge.
And a lot of school boards are doing that, so that
Yeah.
they don't have one long meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we tried to get the agenda down to 2 hours. It was fun.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we didn't do too bad.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear more about.
Yeah. Anything else on 11D? Then, yes, ma'am.
The team of 8? Are we gonna, you were gonna?
Oh.
That's the next board.
Well, we announce it.
Angela, when do we have to announce it, the team of 8, at next board meeting?
And that was confirmed for the ones that could make it to the meeting. Is that confirmed that we will get Team of 8 training for that?
I'm still gonna confirm with Gary Carter that you will get, that you don't, she's confirming that y'all can count your hours, team of 8, the ones who did attend. And then going forward, the ISO training, that is 3 hours. Whenever we can plan to have that training class, you will also get, if everybody comes, you will also get Team of 8 training. So that's the next one that we need to plan for before these others is, the first one needs to be EISO. So.
Okay.
And what does that stand for again?
Yeah.
Accountability has, you know, it changes all the time, so it's going over student accountability.
And our deadline for that is?
Yeah.
It was part of. That's the one that we didn't come up with, right, the date?
So is Carrie
no, we
going
can
to give us some dates, or are we?
She's gonna work around, based on what she told us on, like Monday is usually off because of church. So she said if you give some dates, she'll work around our calendars.
So we need to come up with another calendar for,
And does it have to be through Cary? Can it be through TASB?
It's through the 31st.
Regional?
It's part of what we.
It's part of what we've already paid for.
yeah. So March, I think, didn't work out. I'll put something out again, you know, dates in April. Look at April and May. Let's look at both months. I'll put something out tomorrow morning. You know, and we can collaborate all on that.
And then when we do, Angela, the 12-month agenda, we'll go ahead and add 4 dates, similar to what we used to have for special sessions. that we used to have it scheduled a year ahead. I just need to know what days of the week would be great, because we used to do Thursday, then sometimes we've done Tuesday. So what, Tuesday? So if we want to say on a Tuesday night, then we can go ahead and put those sessions in there for you.
And I will just tell you right now, I will be gone April 15th through the 26th. So that kind of chops up into y'all's April.
Yeah, so we'll look at in May too, so we'll discuss May also. Yeah, same here. Yeah, I think Nationals in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just
Oh,
look
that's right.
hard
No,
at
I'll be
May,
out
because,
of town
for
from
sure.
The 10th to the 26th.
So,
April.
yeah, let's look at that.
And we're still being compliant. We won't go to jail.
No, we're fine.
Okay.
We just gotta we're just. Item number 12, so I established the next meeting, 12A, Monday, April 6th. Yeah. And then item 13, I move we adjourn.
27.
Hearing no objection, we stand adjourned at 8:28 PM.